The Rise of Darkness event brought about many different changes for all the heroes involved, from rocket punching Pharahs to jumping Zaryas and even fire strikes without cooldown. Here are all the new hero abilities added in this game mode. Starting with Reinhardt, his Blessed Barrier actually allows him to tank damage for his teammates even when the shield is not in front of them. This allows him to just hold up shield for any teammates that are low in health in order to make sure that they don't die. He also occasionally deals a knockback effect when he's blocking damage with his shield. Next is his Divine Armament ability, where his Rocket Hammer will actually fire strikes when he starts swinging at it. This allows him to get a little bit more range for the areas where enemies spawns a bit further up. His Blazing Strike lays down a carpet of lava whenever he fires strikes through the air. Now this is useful for Ryan to actually block out lanes when they're getting flanked by large enemies. Finally is his Righteous Charge, allows him to be invisible whenever he's in the charge animation, allowing to actually live your dream of charging into the back line in ranked games. Zara's first ability straight up turns her into a Winston, allowing her to actually leap forward and even knock back enemy. So yeah, it's the same as Winston jump for the most part, although on a much longer cooldown. Next is her most fun ability, her Menacing Aura, which actually uses her self bubble to actually damage enemies and even slow them down, giving her a great crowd control tool for this mode. Next is a Frenzy Shout, which is similar to Junker Queen, giving her allies a slight buff for them to move faster as well as increase their attack speed. Her Rage Strike applies the aura to enemies when they're hit with a particle cannon beam as well as her grenades. This just gives her a little bit more DPS for the fights involving large waves of bots. Pharah's kit is probably the most exciting one. Her Judge Evil allows her to throw out a concussive blast that actually not only deals damage but actually marks enemy for homing missiles. Her Divine Assaults give her a Doomfist punch. With the use of melee, you can punch into enemies to deal large amount of damage. Her Holy Wrath allows her Jump Jet to actually create a pillar of damage. Not very useful, but it is very cool effect. And Purifying Storm allows her to actually fire additional mini rockets apart from primary fire, drastically increasing her damage output. Sombra's primary is not the most exciting change. It allows Sombra to actually shoot a tracking dart occasionally as she uses a primary fire. This tracking dart doesn't seem to do a lot of damage, but it's a guaranteed hit on targets. Her Hunter's Hack is probably the most important ability for her kit. This allows Sombra and her teammates to do critical damage to all hacked enemies. Dark Recall places down an aura that actually damage enemies as they come into contact with it. And lastly, her Enfeebling Virus allows her to actually chain the virus off enemies as the enemies dies from it. It's very useful for taking out large crowds. With Illari, her Augmented Healing allows her to actually deal additional damage while using her Solar Rifle to heal teammates. Her next ability, Violent Outburst, allows her to apply a debuff to enemies when they are hit by her Outburst ability. Using Blighted Sunbeam, her Solar Rifles actually creates an explosion when you fully charge her shots, which is very good for you to deal with large waves of enemy. Finally, her Pylon Blast, it allows the Healing Pylon to actually deal bursts of damage for enemies when they are healing allies as well, making it very useful to bait enemies into rooms where you can deal large amount of AoE damage. Life Reverse Sanctify is just a soldier heal station, giving you more heals throughout the fights. Next we have a Brutal Grip, which actually allows it to damage enemies when you're pulling your teammates towards you. Just a little bit more utility for Life Reaver overall. His Thorn Blossom allows him to actually do a little bit more DPS when he's trying to keep your teammates alive using your main heal. And finally we have the Hallowed Ground, which gives your petal a little bit of a buff for any teammates that are standing on it. Now time for the baddies. With the Orisa, it comes in 3 different variations. First is the Ice Demon that allows the Orisa to shoot multiple snowballs or multiple freezing zones. But these zones don't actually freeze you, it just slows you down and cancel any abilities. The Fortifying Demon allows her to build walls around a selected enemy, trapping them within, so try not to play inside rooms for this one. And finally the Shielded Demon. It just gives Orisa a permanent Winston shield around her, forcing you to go into close quarter combat with this demon. For the Shaman Ramatra, I don't really see much with his kit other than he can occasionally spawn bots near him throughout the fight itself. This should be the easiest boss to take down out of the 4. The Butcher is actually a really fun one to go up against. He has this ability similar to the Firestorm from Diablo that does a lot of knockback and knocking you backwards and further up, giving him some space to recover in between fights. He also has increased fire rate with his primary and a reduced cooldown on his hook, allowing to be active in the fight for a much longer period of time. For this, you just want to actually play further away unless your team comp denotes coming closer towards it. We then have the Asmodan Wrecking Ball, where he lays a trail of lava whenever it is in ball form and rolling around. Make sure to not get trapped into a room with this one, or else you're gonna take constant damage. The requirement for the ball to do a power drive has also been removed, allowing to power drive a lot more frequently throughout the fight. And the Big Mummy herself, Lilith Moira, comes with a couple new changes, allowing her to actually throw multiple damage orbs throughout her fight. Apart from that, she also has the power to nano boost bot targets nearby, making them a lot more dangerous for you to get close. Other than that, all her abilities remain the same, including her Coalescence for her ult. As for the Easter egg, if you want to complete the achievement, there are 4 different things that you can interact with around the map. I'm just gonna play them out for you so you can take a look.